Here we are on a perfect spring afternoon on Sydney Harbour, and my name is Brett Waymark and I'm the Artistic Director of the Sydney Philharmonia Choirs. It's a very special year for us, 2010. Not only have we put together a fantastic season of exciting and innovative concerts, but it's also our 90th anniversary year. This choir has been in existence for 90 years, and to celebrate that we're actually going to London to be part of the BBC Proms. It's recognition on an international stage and something that we're very proud of. But at the core of what we do in any year is this very special series of concerts that we do in our hometown, Sydney, here at the Sydney Opera House and the City Recital Hall. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you some of the ideas and reasons behind why we put together this extraordinary program. I can still remember the first time I ever heard Beethoven 9 conducted by Stuart Challender in the Sydney Opera House. So it's with a sense of great honour that I come to conduct the finale of Beethoven 9, a piece which means different things to different people, but no matter where or when it is performed, it is an event, and it's something that really brings the audience together and makes us all feel as one in many ways. You know, it was the only piece they could play when the Berlin Wall came down in Germany, and to have it sort of answering or as the other part of the concert with Moya Henderson's new extraordinary work, the Anna Akhmatova Requiem, is very, very much a privilege and an honour. I'll let you in on a bit of a secret. Before becoming a singer and becoming a conductor, what I really wanted to be was an actor. And so it's very exciting to sort of bring those two passions together in this concert, which is Songs for Shakespeare. We had such fun last year putting together our Amadeus program, which again was a film which affected me as a young musician very greatly. So now it's great. I've spent many nights at home in front of the DVD player looking at this fantastic footage of Shakespearean films, and combining that with some extraordinary music by Mendelssohn, by Vaughan Williams, by Rutter, and by William Moulton, and possibly even Cole Porter, is something that I'm really looking forward to. Mozart Requiem is a very special piece to me, and you know, every time we perform it, you know, one has to think of the sort of works that would go nicely with it, you know, complement this extraordinary work that Mozart wrote in the final days of his life. But we're trying something a little bit different for 2010. What about just hearing the Mozart Requiem by itself? So we're doing a series of 5 concerts in what is perhaps the city's best acoustic City Recital Hall at Angel Place, of just the Mozart itself. So it's something that people can come along and experience either in their lunch break or in between shopping on a Saturday afternoon, or perhaps even just before they catch the train home on a Friday afternoon. It's such a special piece, and music, you can change your life at a concert. So this is just the Mozart Requiem in sublime acoustics, and I think it's going to be something very special in 2010. Although I never had to wait on tables, I did do some rather odd jobs to sort of get through university, and one of the odd but actually delightful ones that I did was tour around New South Wales with a harpsichord. Now, harpsichords go out of tune very, very quickly, so the idea of actually touring around and doing 3 shows a day with a harpsichord is no joy. You've got to tune it every single time. But the show that we did was by Henry Purcell, and it was a condensed version of his music for King Arthur. And it's an extraordinary score, and for years now I've actually wanted to do the full score. And it's interesting, if anybody's been looking at the programs in the past couple of years, they'll notice that every year there's been a little bit more Purcell in there. We've done Dido, we've done some of the music for Queen Mary. This year we're doing the Ode to St. Cecilia. Last year I think we did The Tempest. So it's a little bit of a programming through line, if you like, to really explore what was the greatest English composer before Britain. This is a fantastic opportunity to enjoy this score, King Arthur. It's a lot of fun. So it's our 90th birthday as Australia's oldest and largest choral organisation. So what do? Well, you go to Australia's foremost composer of note. I rang Peter Sculthorpe and said, will you write us a birthday piece? And he said yes. So in October, is it October? Yes, in October, we get the chance to premiere one of Peter Sculthorpe's new works, a piece written especially for us here at the Philharmonia. And just going along with that idea again, you know, what do you do in your 90th year? You do the Berlioz Te Deum, another gigantuan work which calls for a very large choir and a very large orchestra, a really prominent pipe organ part, and then of course a really extraordinary tenor soloist, and we have Keith Lewis coming out from England to do this. So of all the concerts, that's one of the really special ones, a new premiere of a Peter Sculthorpe work. Relationship with Peter goes back to my university days when he taught me at university, and then this extraordinary piece, the Berlioz Te Deum. It's a concert which I'm really very, very excited about. As we're making this DVD, we're actually in the middle of our choral pilgrimage for 2009, and it's been such a successful idea, taking the choirs out of the concert hall and into a more intimate space like a church somewhere outside of the CBD, and performing even repertoire that we don't normally do. For this year, for example, 16th century polyphony from Spain. Well, we're extending that idea or enlarging that idea next year and using our symphony chorus. Symphony chorus are going to go on the road, so to speak, to various cathedrals around the Greater Sydney area, and we're going to perform an English program, partly music from the 16th century, again music that we don't normally perform with that ensemble, and we're going to break that ensemble down into smaller choirs. But then in doing so, we're also going to perform Thomas Tallis's extraordinary work for 40 different vocal parts, Speminalium, and then we're going to contrast that against works from 20th century British composers, people like Benjamin Britten and Sir Michael Tippett. Again, it's really refreshing to take the symphony chorus out of their normal home, which is the Sydney Opera House or even Angel Place, and explore some entirely different repertoire with them. So it's a pilgrimage not just for us in terms of getting out of Sydney, but also it's a pilgrimage in terms of the repertoire, exploring repertoire that we don't normally get a chance to do. So, Monteverdi Vespers. It's 400 years since Monteverdi wrote this extraordinary piece, and he wrote it, you know, sort of like a job application. This job came up at St. Mark's in Venice, and in order to say, you know, I'm the man for the job, he wrote this extraordinary piece, and it's still, you know, to this day, one of those pieces, you know, Missa Solemnis by Beethoven, Bach B minor Mass, and then there's Monteverdi's Vespers. I mean, one of the pivotal works of not just the choral repertoire, but music in general. It's 400 years since this was published, and it was also the very first work that I ever did with the Philharmonia, way back when I was a tenor soloist. I came in and performed this work with then the greatest interpreter of this music in Sydney, Gerald English. So again, 90th anniversary, you know, we've explored so much of this music now, of the Baroque period, that it's the right time to look at this extraordinary work in the, again, just transparent acoustic that is a city recital hall at Angel Place. Well, it's Christmas time, and of course at the Philharmonia we perform Handel's Messiah. This year we're very lucky to be joined by Brad Cohen, who will be leading us through these performances. And you know, we've been looking at different ways of presenting this over the last couple of years, and so this year we look forward to, again, taking some of the, I don't know, not the best parts of Messiah, because the whole work is very, very good, but some pivotal parts of Messiah, and matching that with some well-known Christmas carols and songs for the festive season in what we really hope will be a concert that will appeal to all ages. And you know, if you've never heard Messiah and you just want to, you know, have a tasting tray and just, you know, dip your feet in the water, there's probably too many metaphors now, this is a concert to come to. So this is our Christmas celebration. It's to celebrate that time of the year. It's to celebrate our love for this particular repertoire. And look, you might come along to this and then just decide that you really need to hear the whole thing. So there's 3 performances of the entire work, which is Messiah, at the end of that.